Really good day today. Feel good about wrapping up spring. I feel like it's time. The guys have worked really hard for 5 weeks. Um, you've heard me talk about it several times this spring. When you go 5 weeks, it's a long time to compete against each other. We get these kids up early. They have very demanding off days as well with workouts and meetings. So it's been a good 5 weeks. We've gotten a lot of work done. We've shown flashes in all areas, and then today I felt like it was much cleaner. Pleased with both sides. I feel like the defense came out strong, but the offense kept on pushing, and then I want to say the third possession, third series really started opening up, hitting some big plays. Overall, very successful spring, very good practice today. I believe we kept everybody healthy after a good physical long scrimmage today. So that was good, and we needed that. We needed to see the live bullets and get out there and get on the game field and simulate a game as best we could. And offensively, we were cleaner today. Till the very end when we were working some very young guys and some threes and fours, but very clean. Felt like we were more effective, not as many pre-snap penalties. The football wasn't on the ground. Still did a good. The quarterbacks did a good job of protecting the football, but yet being aggressive and getting the ball down the field. So good day overall, good spring.
Okay, we're going to questions now. Looks like some of you have already raised your hand. John Hale, go right ahead.
Mark, we've talked a lot about those second-year defensive linemen this spring, but those offensive linemen in that class were also very, highly touted. How are guys like John Young and Ruben Adams and DeAndre Beaver? How are those guys progressing? Have they worked into the rotation yet?
They are working into the rotation. They're working. They're gaining confidence and technique, and so still need some work. But I love their attitude and their effort, and they're pushing along and getting better and will help us.
Larry Vaught.
Yeah, Mark, I've watched a lot of spring practices there and all, but I'm a little worried about you because I don't think I've ever seen you so happy for a whole 5 week period. You could not have been upset about anything in spring
Uh,
practice, have you?
well, I was a little pissed off Thursday. Were you not on the call?
No, I didn't get it on Thursday.
Yeah, wasn't pleased Thursday. I challenged the offense, and I thought they responded. Came out and had a good day today. But I am, I'm just pleased with this group. I like this team. I like the way they work and they compete, and they've got a really good attitude. I feel like we've got a lot of good pieces in place. We're certainly not arrived. We have a ton of work to do this summer. So I just challenged them and lectured them after this practice to really get back in and stay focused. We've got lifting and meetings and evaluations coming up this week where we'll have player meetings for a long time and get very in depth and detail with them of our expectations and what they expect of each other. And then they'll get a little time, but then they've got to come back and have a really strong summer. We've got to have great leadership. They've got to do a lot of work on their own to continue to evolve, in particular offensively, because it's new. So we've got a lot to do, but I like the pieces we have in place, Larry, and I think we've got a chance. We've got to just continue to work really hard.
Nick.
Damon left some pretty big shoes to fill. How has De'Aaron Jackson progressed this spring? What do you expect from this fall?
Well, sorry to report that De'Aaron did suffer a injury last week, and so it's probably a season-ending injury. So very, very disappointed in that because he was doing a really good job. So we've got a variety of guys. We've got some newcomers coming in. We'll continue to figure that out and see where that goes. But we have players here on campus that'll step up and next man up mentality like we always do. But I'm disappointed for De'Aaron because he was having a really good spring.
Was it a knee kind of deal or?
No, it was a lower body injury that happened last Saturday in pregame warmups, and it was completely non-contact. So,
Who stepped in at that Mike spot with
like I
Mike?
said, we got a variety of guys. I'm gonna continue to work our way through it. I'm not ready to pencil anybody in yet.
John Hale?
Mark, with the NCAA moving ahead on that free transfer rule this week, because you wrap up spring, guys have a better idea where they stand. Do you anticipate any more additions you need through the transfer portal? And I assume there will probably be just some more natural attrition over the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, that's where the balance comes in, John, because we only have the ability to bring in. We do have a little bit of room. We have maybe 1 or 2 spots that we could bring in some guys, even with the attrition because of the initials. Unless guys come in late summer in August, and you could push them forward and count against next year's class. So there's a lot of roster management issues that we all have to go through. So it's a different time, but we will adjust, we'll adapt, and I know the newcomers that we have in that just got cleared, in particular Wandell, is a huge asset to our program and a big-time playmaker. So happy for that.
Lonnie? You're on mute, Lonnie.
Mark, talk about Luke Fulton and where he is right now. How has he progressed?
Luke's had a good spring. He's getting better, getting more comfortable. As I said earlier, we needed that depth at that position. Showed up, made some good plays today, and getting more comfortable each and every day, every practice. So he's doing a good job.
John?
First, I just want to spend a little more on that in terms of you looking for that bell cow as far as that Jack linebacker outside and Wright has been talked about a lot. But Coach White said he felt like Wright said he lost weight, but Coach White said he felt like he needs to maybe put on a few more pounds because it's a rugged thing keep trying to get through 13-game schedule.
Yeah, definitely. J-Dub always, he's an athlete and needs to always be conscientious about the weight room and eating and putting on the right weight. Playing the Jack full time, a little bit more physical position for him. Played some at the Sam, some at the Jack, but we feel good, about him stepping up and really developing into a big time player for us. And he's another guy, just like a lot of guys, he has to have a good off season.
John Long?
Mark, from what you've seen of the leaders on this team this spring, how confident are you that they'll be able to hold each other accountable, and what will you be doing to check in on them during the summer months?
Yeah, we never get too far away from them. Like I said, we'll dive heavy into our, player development area of our program here this week, with really sitting down and spending a lot of time and evaluating each guys. Like I said, they'll evaluate themselves, their peers will evaluate them, and we'll meet with them, for a long time. So there's a pretty deep process there for the next couple weeks, and so we don't ever get too far away from them, John. That'll be with their position coach, with the coordinator, and with myself. So we'll do that, and hopefully we could get back to our normal player development area where we spend time with each other. So that is one area where in the summer, May and June are going to be extremely busy for us, and we'll be here full time. The coaches get a little break in July, but hopefully, if COVID continues to loosen a little bit, we'll get back to doing our little Wednesday, player development where I bring in speakers, and then we go out on the back and have a little cookout and spend time with each other. But we'll stay close to them. We always do. We never drift too far away from these guys.
Are you pretty confident in these guys to police each other?
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, there's 115 guys over there that are between the ages of 17 and 21. So, I'm not saying we're perfect, but we'll keep our thumb on them, that's for sure.
Larry Bott?
I know every recruit that you get is important, but are there some recruits that are more important just from a perception standpoint, maybe from where they're from or how they're ranked like that?
Maybe, maybe. With momentum and with getting some momentum and pulling a class together, there are definitely some key pieces. Let's face it. You've heard me say it before. To act like it's not personal would be a lie. It is. We put a lot of time in and invest a lot of time and build relationships. And so, I think we're on the verge of really being able to put together a really good class, an important class. So I feel good about it, but we've got to continue to work at it. And with the changes or with the restrictions being lifted, being able to have some face-to-face contact with prospects in June will be very good and much needed for all of us. So we're looking forward to hosting prospects on campus, both unofficially, officially, and with camps. And so that's an important piece for us.
And are you ready to give us a little bit more information on your starting quarterback?
No. You know better than that. Come on, Larry. No, I tell you, both guys, that are in competition for the starting job have really maybe alternated days and, really done. Both of them have done some really good things. You could see the confidence in both guys growing. So they've really done a nice job. I will say Joey's done a really nice job off the play actions and the waggles of in this system of hitting some deep balls and hitting. We've gotten the ball down the field better than we have in some time. So that's been good to see. Bo had some really good ones today as well. He dropped a dime on a deep pass today in a predictable pass situation that I would have liked to have seen the receiver come up with a catch. It could have been a touchdown. So both guys are really showing some good signs.
Adam?
Hey Mark, just at my position, it's third year in a row you'll have a new starter there. Second off season, you had an unexpected loss. Just how important is that position to your defense? You feel like y'all can get maybe a new player up to speed quickly, and is having a guy like Square, he's played a lot. How important is that with this situation you're going through? Can he be a guy that, I'm assuming a lot of communication. You all depend a lot on that Mike. Can he take over some of that role?
Definitely. DeAndre definitely could take over the leadership role and take charge and calls and doing a lot of things out there. There's no question there. And we'll have the next man up mentality. Like I said, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but nobody was talking about Jamin a year ago. Nobody. So we'll find the next guy and our expectations will stay the same and we'll plug somebody in and they'll be very effective.
John Hale?
As you look at everything that offensive line group went through last year, how important was Ryan Fink and maybe stepping up and taking on some additional responsibilities that a GA wouldn't normally do?
Well, definitely had more on his plate. We've had some really experienced, graduate assistants and, with Walt the year before, in an analyst role. We had great experience in him and lost both our GA and our analyst the year before. And so Ryan had to step up and a little bit new and inexperienced to our system, but still did a really good job and, had a lot on his plate along with our other assistant coaches, and Eddie had a lot on his plate. So, definitely was a stressful time for us that way.
Jeff Drummond?
Hey Mark, I was wondering, could you give us a guy maybe on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball that maybe made the biggest strides in your eyes over these last 15 months?
I don't know. You catch me, off guard a little bit there. I don't know. I think definitely both quarterbacks have made big strides. I see the confidence in them. I see the awareness of where to go with the football. I think we all understand that we need to improve and play better at that position, along with all of us. That's never on just the quarterback, you know that, just systematically and the players around them stepping up and making plays. I think it's very contagious. But I do see the confidence in the quarterbacks growing, and that's rubbing off on the other guys. So I think, I think Bo and Joey are guys that I'm seeing make a lot of growth this spring, which is extremely important. On the defensive side of the ball, I don't know. I don't think it's any surprise that Josh Paschal is showing up, but I feel like he's a guy that's taking it to another level. Where you see a very good player turn into, a game wrecker at times. There's times in practice or in a scrimmage where he can take over and be very disruptive. So it's good to see him growing that way.
Lonnie?
Mark, you also had a couple spots to fill in the offensive line, but let's talk about Jeremy Flax and tell me about his progress and what he's showing you in practice.
Yeah, we're very pleased with Jeremy. He's a big, strong guy. Love his mentality, his demeanor, but he gives us that physical presence that we like, obviously, and he's just done a really good job. He's growing, he's maturing, and picking things up and becoming more and more comfortable with every rep. We needed that, and it's been good to see.
Nick?
I think we've heard, I know you mentioned it previously, just numbers from the quarterbacks being really efficient, accurate. I think 29 out of 34, fewer incompletions. Is accuracy something that can be taught by a quarterback, or is that a thing where you either have it or you don't?
Well, I think, yes, it can be taught and developed. I think it's, system and, with the teaching and with the progression, understanding where to go with the ball and what to do with it. And I don't want to get too caught up with that either because, there's phases in practice where I want him to force the ball. And I've told Liam and the offensive coaches not to grade them in certain aspects of practice because I want it forced. I want defenses challenged. You know what I mean? I don't want, I want to see them trying to force it into windows. I believe that also gives the quarterbacks an understanding of themselves of where they can throw it to windows and anticipate and try to force things. For us defensively, it's some of it is fundamental for us. For instance, like a half line, where maybe he wouldn't, go to that side all the time. Or, there's times in a game when you have to make a throw. You can't take the check down. You have to force it. Maybe the game's on the line and we're down and you got to push it and you got to force it and anticipate that. So as we're doing that, I'm seeing some of the quarterbacks anticipate, and I'm seeing them force things, and I'm seeing them getting confidence in some throws that they can make.
Got time for one more if anybody's got one. Okay, well, Coach, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.